Hello, everybody. I just want to say thank you for checking out my video. It's the first time I've ever done a vlog. Not the first time I've ever done a video, but it's the first time I've ever done a vlog or vlog or whatever you call these things. I will say it is my first time cutting a video inside of a phone. So hopefully production quality will improve. And if I seem a little less enthusiastic than would be better suited to a video, I do apologize, but during the bulk of the shoot, I've been getting over a very nasty respiratory infection. That said, I hope that you do enjoy the video, and thank you again. Hello guys, welcome to Weird Spins. My name is Dosian. If you were around in the 90s and hanging out in the movie scene crowd for Eurotrash cinema and weird extreme underground horror films, you may remember me from some of the trade shows at that time. I had an independent music label called Graveside Entertainment. I collaborated with Blackest Heart Media at that time in putting out a few classic soundtracks and putting together a Lucio Fulci tribute album, as well as publishing and releasing in collaboration with other artists a couple of original soundtracks, and I had a band called Alucarda, and we did a couple of soundtracks as well as a progressive art rock album with sort of a goth spin called The Trickster and the Fool. Alright, so today I've started this channel to share my record collection with you, and that's basically all I'll be doing here. It's entitled Weird Spins, the channel, and it's because I have a preference for unique pressings. I like colored vinyl, picture discs, shaped discs, that sort of thing. I think they just add to the fun. Even if there's a little bit of a sacrifice to sound quality in some instances, no matter what, with a contemporary pressing, the pressing is only going to reflect the quality of the work of the people and the materials behind it. So sometimes they'll knock your socks off even with these special editions. You'll find my music tastes all over the place, from extreme metal to classic progressive art rock from the 1970s, especially Italian prog rock. I have a fondness for exotica, sometimes referred to as space age or man cave music. Kids records, especially Disneyland LPs, especially vintage ones. Always leaning into preference for picture discs and colored vinyls. These three are part of a series of, I think, 8 to 10 that came out from MCA and A&M Records. Pardon the glare. These 5 being Walt Disney World Park exclusives from the early 1970s, the first 5 park exclusives that were ever released. And down the road I'll probably dedicate a video exclusively to these 5 and their unique history. Before I proceed, I'd like to give a shout out to TUCO Vintage Vinyl Hunter and also to Recordology for providing inspiration and encouragement for me to go ahead and start this channel. Hopefully the channel grows and my production quality improves down the road. In the meantime, you'll find links to their channels in the description below. I encourage you, please do check out their channels. Join them, like, subscribe. You'll have a lot of fun exploring the information that they provide and checking out some of the adventures that they have in the vinyl record community. Thanks. Today's video is going to focus on 20 pieces from my Dagored record label collection. It's a fantastic label from Italy, typically very high quality pressings, great soundtracks. Many of their releases are colored vinyl. Some of them were done in limited picture disc format, and I have a few of those to share as well today. Okay, so first up, and excuse my Italian pronunciation, I'm not Italian, so it's probably terrible. We have Per il gusto di uccidere by Nico Fedenko, who's known for the Emanuelle soundtracks. This was released in English, the movie under the title A Taste for Killing, a classic 1966 spaghetti western by Tonino Ricci. Limited to 500 copies, it was released on this beautiful sandstorm splatter vinyl. Next up, we have this amazing Ennio Morricone picture disc, Il Prefetto de Ferro, which features some vocals by legendary folk performer Rosa Balestrieri. I don't believe there's an English title version of this production. It was a mini-series for Rai Television based on true crime stories. Limited to 500, Sette Sciali di Sette Gialla, Crimes of the Black Cat. A beautiful sounding press, music by Manuel de Sica on translucent yellow vinyl. Indio Black, also known as Audio Sabata, featuring the great Yul Brynner on the album cover, music by the legendary Bruno Nicolai, also limited to 500 copies. And it's on a sort of semi-opaque orange vinyl. This one is an essential. This is Umberto Lenzi's Eyeball, also known as Wide-Eyed in the Dark, and it is just a stunning pressing. Again, music by Bruno Nicolai. I'm not sure how many of these were pressed. When I got a hold of this one, it was used. The hype sticker is gone. I know it's pretty hard to come by. On Bloodshot Eyeball colored vinyl. And here we have another vintage crime movie soundtrack. I Pugni in Tasca, Fists in the Pockets by Ennio Morricone, limited to 1,000 copies. And it's on a stunning, brightly colored blue vinyl, opaque. I Lunghi Capelli della Morte by Carlo Rusticelli. I believe this one is also limited to 500. One moment, just sort of zoom in. Hype sticker will tell me there. Terrible focus. Yeah, limited to 500. This is, for anybody who are not familiar with it by the Italian title, this is The Long Hair of Death, the classic vintage Barbara Steele movie. Really fantastic gothic horror movie. Black and white classic. Beautiful sounding press on white vinyl. From Piero Umiliani, we have Requiem for a Secret Agent, limited to 300 copies, described as a mashup of easy listening and lounge. I'd say that's accurate, but it definitely has that spy movie feel to it. Great sleeve art, both front and back. And it's on a pretty intense looking opaque green vinyl. Peppino De Luca, La Ragazza con la Pistola, Lady with a Gun. And I have no idea about any of the details of this film. There's a lot of mashup of both music and dialogue on this LP. The dialogue, of course, is in Italian language. Very cool, kind of interesting side B artwork. I think the most awesome looking of the Dagored picture discs, Criminal, based on the Italian comic strip. Music by Roberto Pregado and Romano Mussolini. And I just received this one as a gift, and it's among my favorite albums at the moment. Original soundtrack for Hatchet for the Honeymoon by Santa Maria Romatelli. Really, really nice kind of weird exotica horror soundtrack. Limited to 500 copies. Beautiful Mario Bava film. One of my favorite Mario Bava films. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't seen Hatchet for the Honeymoon, it's an essential vintage classic movie. interesting multicolor vinyl as well. I absolutely love these unique labels that they do for these pressings also. Picture disc for Mario Bava's 1975 Torture Chamber of Barren Blood by Stelvio Cipriani. And here's the B-side. Now, this one is a traditional black pressing, but I cannot recommend this album enough. This is music by Franco Michalizzi, brand new performances of classic material that he did for a number of the Italian Eurocrime and sort of police chase movies in the 1970s, including some of the Umberto Lenzi classics. This is music to drive angry by. If you buy this, you're going to want to rip it to MP3. You're going to want to blast it in your car. Or maybe not, so you don't wind up pulled over. It's that good. Another Ennio Morricone picture disc. This time, the erotic giallo forbidden photo of a lady above suspicion. And featuring vocals by the great Etta Del Orso. Revolver, another Morricone soundtrack. This is another one hard to come by. Hello, stranger. This one was released on VHS in the United States in the 80s under the title Blood in the Streets. Absolutely amazing movie. Music by Ennio Morricone, again, this time conducted by Bruno Nicolai. Again, I got lucky and found this one used, so I don't have the hype sticker and I don't know how many it was limited to. Blood-splattered vinyl. The cover featuring the great Oliver Reed and legendary action star Fabio Testi. Fabio Testi also on the B-side label. If you haven't seen this movie, look for it on stream. See this movie. Trust me. And here we have another red and white splatter. This one being Ennio Morricone's music for Holocaust 2000. This was sort of a knockoff, I guess, of the Omen trilogy, but features an adult Antichrist, whereas the Omen at that point just had the child Antichrist. They hadn't progressed to the Sam Neill version as of yet. Great Morricone score, black and red splatter on white vinyl. This movie also sometimes turns up under the title Reign of Fire. Okay, and hopefully this one is covered up enough with body paint to pass YouTube censors. So Ennio Morricone soundtrack to a film named for its lead actress, even though it's a fiction work. The actress actually being Verushka, the supermodel. And it's supposed to be her true adventures. Yeah, right. Interesting film, interesting picture disc. The scaling makeup effect on the back cover photo is really bizarre and unique. Another Pregario and Mussolini soundtrack based on yet another popular Italian adult comic strip. This one leaning much more into film erotica, satanique or satanic. And I don't know, there's just something awesome about this picture disc. Erotic Giallo. This one's actually a sequel. This is Bruno Nicolai music from Your Vice is a Locked Room and Only I Have the Key. The first film was called The Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward. A breathtaking sounding album on translucent red vinyl. Fantastic soundtrack album. Both films starred the absolutely gorgeous Edwige Fenech. Skeleton keyhole art on the B-side label. And last one, limited to 500 copies, Nella Stretta Morsa del Ragno, music by Riz Ortolani, famous mostly for his music for Cannibal Holocaust, but also did Mondo Cane, did the incredible 2072 New Gladiators for Lucio Fulci, opaque and translucent color and color vinyl. Ortolani also did music for Zader, which I think is an absolutely fantastic movie. Often misunderstood. People expected it to be a zombie film, and it is not. It does share a little bit in common with Pet Sematary, minus the pets. If you haven't seen the film, I recommend check it out. Domestically, it was originally released as Revenge of the Dead. All right, this one, the film is actually sometimes known as Web of the Spider. It's a remake of one of the classic era Barbara Steele movies. Features Klaus Kinski, and it is the story of a person trapped overnight in a haunted castle, the person being Edgar Allan Poe. A pretty neat little movie. And that back cover is a little excessive. I think it's awesome. So I got to the very end and in post realized I missed one. This is Walter Rizzati's Park Avenue, an album of library tracks from 1978. Easy listening stuff. Rizzati is most famous for 1990 The Bronx Warriors, which he scored for Enzo Castellari, and also for scoring Lucio Fulci's House by the Cemetery with Alex Blanksteiner. As you can see, it's on a pretty interesting pastel blue and metallic gold vinyl. So, would I recommend Dagored label records? Absolutely. I think that the sound quality on these LPs was exceptional for the most part, not on the picture disc so much, but on the traditional press and the colored vinyl press, absolutely. There were only one or two that seemed to be lifting the audio directly from the film track with dialogue and sound effects. The rest appear to be sourced from the original studio master tapes of the soundtrack recording sessions. Their website is online, however, they do not appear to sell direct, so Discogs or eBay would probably be your best options for tracking down these records, maybe getting lucky out in the wild. Currently, there are a few more really amazing ones out there that I'm actively looking for. One would be the soundtrack to Mario Bava's Black Sabbath, the other to Laura Gemser film Black Emanuel, music by Nico Fidenko. That's the only picture disc from the series that I believe I do not have. All right, so that's it for this time, and I hope to come back in a few weeks with some very different records from these. I'd like to be able to sample some sound from them. Hopefully I'm able to do that without it causing too much of a problem with copyright issues. And if so, I think you'll be absolutely mad about them. And I'll just leave it at that to avoid any spoilers. See you soon.